Intro.
Oh, messed that one up. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble. Dun, 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 dun. Scott, introduce yourself. You
I'm
are the champion.
I am the champion. I am clearly the recovery champion because my belt says so. It
Let's
says
see
right
it.
there. Actually, it says recovery. Oops, I got
Mm-hmm.
tilted this way. And then I also have the sober heathen belt behind me, and then a stone cold Steve Austin belt. So clearly, I am a professional, and I know everything there is to know about everything.
Well, obviously, dude, isn't that why you're here with me?
Yeah, really.
I mean, that's what we do. That's what we do.
We do. Every time we do one of these, we get on and we tell people how to do it and how to live their lives. That is
Every
the
time.
goal of our streams, I think.
I agree. Can you hear me very well? Is my microphone on?
I can hear you much more gooder.
Gooder or greater or good?
Gooder.
I don't think it's on. Hey, Don. Don had such excellent stuff to say last night. It's
Oh,
not
well,
even
hello, Don.
Scott, it's not even on. You're really messing up right now.
What am I messing up?
This-
Dawn is here to hear what I have to say. Look
Yeah.
at the ego. Look at the ego that I brought in this first minute and 20
Oh,
seconds.
you have no idea about ego. I haven't learned about ego till the last week. I've discovered it though.
Sure.
Haven't I, guys? Hey, Tori. Hey, Elle. She's here to take. I love it. It's so funny. Oh my gosh. Okay, cool. So, what's our title, Scotty?
More will be revealed, is what I think that you put out there.
We're so together. Yeah, we didn't know. We know what we're doing here. This is planned and structured.
Yes. I've been working on it for days.
So, more will be revealed is a common, I was going to say cliche, but it's a common phrase used in the recovery community, right? And so it really means like trust the process, stay the course, right? It means exactly what it says it means. More will be revealed. So because the life that I pictured for myself when I put down the drugs and alcohol and I thought I'm going to be sober and this is how I'm going to live my life. It's going to be so great. I could not even imagine anything good enough, as good as what it actually has become. Did I phrase that correctly? I think so. So what about you, Scott?
Yeah, I think that's true. And I think it's also true that I couldn't imagine what it really feels like to actually have to feel my feels.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't prepared for a lot of that. Like, I think I drank a lot of time to fill the gaps of boredom. I'm bored. I'm going to go drink. So yeah, there's a lot of things that the farther you get along in recovery, the more that are revealed, just as the title so properly says. But yeah, the good is way more than the bad, and you can feel things like you're supposed to feel them, the good and the bad. And
What do you hold on? Chapter 10 is where it says it. Let me see something really quick. Oh, okay. It's talking about how we become increasingly aware of ourselves and the world around us. This is from NA, actually. Our needs and wants, our assets and liabilities were revealed to us. We came to realize that we had no power to change the outside world. We could only change ourselves.
Yeah. And that's the big thing that a lot of people don't understand. You can only change yourselves, and you can, the change from within. Once it comes and changes from within, the things on the outside will start to change naturally, in my opinion. And that's what's happened with me or whatever. Once I've, had coherent thoughts, and it's not always easy, but it's, as I said earlier, more gooder this way.
It is real more gooder. And it says recovery is a reality for us today. I speak about it a lot because I can't say enough about how recovery essentially what recovery, if you're not familiar with what we mean when we say recovery, we mean when you put down the addictions and you start replacing those addictions with a life, with with all of these things, and you start adding onto your life, and you start discovering how beautiful life can be, that it was really dreary before. And many of you that have been through this know exactly what I'm talking about. And so recovery is the process of healing, right? It's and I let people say recovering. It all means basically the same thing, if you ask me, in my opinion, that we no longer have to live that way anymore. I don't think about drinking or drugging. It's not something that ever comes in my mind. It's the emotions now, right, Scott?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah. Well, I can't say that I don't think about drinking, because I do, but then I deal with it one way or another, and then I move on. It's not like it was in the thick of it when it was okay. I wake up. Where did I leave my peppermint schnapps or my vodka the night before? Or how am I going to get it tonight when I get done with work? That's not, the obsession is gone. That's a word used in the AA. So when the thoughts come, I'm like, God damn, a drink sounds good. But then I can play it out and kind of see, okay, where is this going to go?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it would be so hard to stay sober if all day that's what we were thinking about. And so that's why it's so important that we have to change our lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our outside lives. Hey, a dog. Dogs rule.
Well, see, Dawn and I are already getting along because she says more gooder too.
Yeah, I know. Me and her have been friends, so.
Oh, well, now we're friends, so back off.
Fine. Lisa said, I learned more will be revealed in the years since I got clean on 6/26/2006. It helps me remember that I don't know the big picture and I don't need to know the future. Yes.
That is a huge amount of recovery time. Congratulations, Lisa. That's badass.
And that statement is, it helps me remember that I don't know the big picture and I don't need to know the future.
Yeah. I think the one thing that comes out of AA that is the best thing to say is one day at a time. But I think that's more encompassing than what some people portray it. It's 100 days sobriety doesn't guarantee you 101, and I think they would agree with that. But that also doesn't solidify you on some pedestal either.
Right. Ooh. Do tell more. I love that.
Well,
sorry.
We get hung up on, you see, people posting or whatever. And, when I first started doing this podcast, the favorite thing that people would, when I started doing my podcast, one of the favorite things that a lot of AAers or gatekeepers, I call them, they're the bad ones. There's so many good people in AA, and AA is so good for so many people. It's not perfect by any means, but the gatekeepers, I call them, don't you think you should get a little more time under your belt before you start talking about like recovery and all this stuff? And it's like, sure, okay, how much time? Well, I don't know. Well, what do you mean you don't know? Tell me how much time before you think, that I need to get under my belt before I have a right to have an opinion on, the big book and the steps, which I have done, I think, pretty extensively.
Right. So it's not a few years that you need. It's there is no logic to it. And so that's been kind of Scott's and mine, but not as much as Scott. He's really taken on that sort of opinion, I guess. People, there's always bullies everywhere that are gonna and they have come at you hard for that. For what reason, we know a little bit why, but it's still a mystery.
Yeah. And like Lisa just said, one day clean is a miracle. And that's the bottom line. Yeah. However you can do it, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's just when people start getting involved in other people's lives that they don't know anything about and saying you're doing it wrong and you're going to fail. That's the ultimate dick move. And that's kind of why I just kind of stand my ground a little bit on that.
Yeah. It's
But anyway.
Yeah. Anyways.
More to be revealed, right?
Yeah, there always is.
So I think you're handling things differently than you might have today with what's going on than you would have in your addiction, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We can talk about that. I know you were on last night when I was talking. I had a really good day yesterday. Later on, I had some difficulties, but just staying the course and really trusting in the healing process, and that if I continue to do the right thing and watch my motives, make sure that my motives are in line with my values, then I don't think that I can really steer wrong, right? I mean, I may make mistakes, but overall, well, Scott, I mean, even in the year that we've known each other, how mad would I get? Like irritated, I guess, at people. And I do admit, like, I mean, I'm not perfectly calm. I don't like people to walk all over me because, well, there's many reasons why. I'm not gonna say everything about myself, but just, you guys already know how stuff over the years shapes us, right? And I normally would just, back in the day, I would go get high. I would go drink. I couldn't handle the emotions. Anything negative, it was like, gotta go get high. I mean, anything though, like, but especially any emotions I didn't want to feel, it was like game over.
Mhm.
So any adversity, anything that hurt. And now that we don't have that, shit is hard, but gets easier, right?
Yeah, well, behind the scenes of everything that's been going on, you've been in our little group DM or whatever, talking it out and working through it. And, you've had the fuck-its, I've had the fuck-its and things going on in my life. And it's really hard to avoid. It's like,
yeah,
you don't get sober for a length of time and then everything just is rainbows and sunshine.
right.
But it would have been really easy for you to handle things a different way. And I think when people, like, I get blamed a lot on my feed too, because people are just people. Like, oh my God, you're talking about this again. Oh my God. Well, you know what, dude? Nobody's holding a gun to your head to make you read my shit, and they're not holding a gun to your head to make you comment on my shit. So scroll along, just like I do in the things that I don't like.
Yeah.
I keep scrolling, and sometimes I go and I butt in and I say stupid shit, and then I'm like,
me too.
Maybe I shouldn't have done that. But we're human. You know what I mean? So,
well, and I can today, speaking of that, I posted stuff because I unread it again, and then I just deleted it because I said, you know what, I'm sick of having to defend myself. This is going to be never ending. And someone commented and it clicked with me, and someone said, you don't need to, Lindsay, you don't need to hold on, I want to read it because it was really, the word I can't paraphrase was shit. I don't remember shit. Oh, I think since it's got deleted, it's gone. But she was talking about how I don't need to prove anything to anyone, and the people that are asking for evidence or this or that really aren't interested in knowing the truth. And most of them haven't even, nobody's talked to me. Nobody that has made videos about me or the situation, they've got it all wrong, and it's hard to not correct them. But yet again, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like that's they have to live with their lying or what. I don't know what they're doing. I won't watch them. So any video about me, I don't watch it. People will tell me synopsis, and so I know. But other than that, like, I'm not, because it's not real to me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to explain that, but they're not opinions they're not real opinions. It's like propaganda. And it's just like anything else that ever happens. And it's a very, it's a toxic community that I don't want to be in. And I think, I see sometimes little comments and stuff, and I'm like, wow, people are like out there. Like they really don't understand real life. I don't understand. What did I just do yesterday? I did today. I posted stuff. And then yesterday I did. Yeah. People are continuing to make videos about me. And so, yeah. Oh, someone sent me a video of this guy. It's just a voice in here. Some guy just someone sent me a live of this guy and was like saying how weird it was that he was talking about me because I don't know who he is. And he was talking cash shit. And then when I go on there, I'm like, hi, what the fuck? And he's like, it's not you we have a problem with, it's Mitch. And it's like, that's so weird. Like, so I guess like what I want to say is I'm not gonna give anybody any content to do it on anymore, you know. So talking to someone this morning that really helped me. I just can't do it anymore. And I kept going back and forth because part of me, I mean, I'm really hurt still about things that are sad. And I don't want to admit that, but I am human. I don't have drugs or alcohol to drown in. I don't like to pretend that it's not. And I've been 100% honest about everything. And so that's where it's kind of like, what else? It's not about anybody else, like what they think of me. It really doesn't matter. It's not really my business. And as much as I do get upset sometimes when I do look at it, like at comments and stuff, I'm like, I'm not going to do it anymore. We were talking today about that. I was talking to someone else and I'm like, no more. It's just not. I got to get back to what matters. And ever since I made that video last night, I was thinking about it. And then I get triggered, not like emotionally triggered, meaning to where it's almost as if my ego is like, how could you say that about me? But it's really not real. It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter at all. Just like Scott and I, we talk about the recovery thing. We're like, we're not going to change anybody's opinion. I mean, if sometimes we can, but not because we want to. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to force anybody. I don't know what ego addiction is. It's not really. Is that a thing?
I think at the end of the day, I think that if I'm listening to a podcast, especially on the recovery side, I want somebody to be as authentic as possible. So I know when I'm being fed a line of shit or I'm just regurgitating the standard company line, if you will, you know, like, oh yeah, one day at a time, you know, live and let live and all these things that you hear on every single one. I would rather hear somebody just like, look, I'm struggling. Look, this pisses me off. Look, these people are lying, you know. And if it gets to a point where you're just like, okay, well, I've had enough of listening to this, then just wait for the next podcast. You know what I mean? Like, if things are bothering you, you know, and you create a podcast to kind of tell your story, like I've done and you've done, then that's what we're going to do. You know.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
So. Ego addiction. I get everybody has an ego, and everybody's ego gets hurt especially when they see shit that it's about them that's not true. You know, I delete more tweets now or comments than I actually post because it's like, oh, you said that? Well, and then it's like, okay, wait a minute. You know what I mean? And sometimes I end up just not commenting at all because I'm working through that. But I think that's a good thing to show other people in recovery and to be honest about it. And that'll help them that it's okay to feel this way. You know, one of the biggest reasons why I went away from AA is because I thought that I was a bad person for having these thoughts. And that every night I had to go to bed and reflect on my day and my character defects and all the things that I did wrong. And I had to really focus on them and why I did them and get my ego out of the way. When it's just, I can do that in the moment and I don't have to dwell on it and just move on. It's becoming more of just who I am now. Oh, I don't need to say this because it just doesn't need to be said. You know, I've posted it before. Does it need to be said by me? Does it need to be said by me? Or excuse me, does it need to be said? Does it need to be said by me? And does it need to be said by me right now? Those are three really good questions that have stuck to me, and they've really helped me. By the way, before the comments get too way out of, I saw Dog's Rule said I got clean on the methadone program, but it took me 5 years, around 30 years ago. Hell yeah! Congratulations, dude.
That's awesome, dude.
Yep. Matt is recovery. That's like setting a bag of poop on fire for some people.
Stop it. Thank you, Elle. Watch it deal. It's a great display of how building and the practice. Yeah. Because you know what, and that's the thing too. Like I don't not to like challenge anybody, but I don't believe there's such thing as an ego addiction. I believe that there's personality disorders, and that, I mean, ego is something that you'll never get rid of. But I believe that too much ego can lead to, well, which is a lack of humility, which can lead to downfall. In my opinion, in my experience, it has before. And so when I'm an ego, what it is for me and everybody else, I'm trying to speak for myself, but I'm not just, it's everybody, right, Scott? Ego is when I start to think that I know everything. Ego is when I stop trying to look at the truth. Ego is when I start to think that I can make no mistake, I'm always right, and everybody else is wrong, and I have to defend myself because I can't look a certain way. And it's not necessarily bad; it just is, right? Like some of it can be considered bad, but it's not good to judge it like that. Does that make sense?
Dude, I'm making a commitment right now on 4/21/24 to do my best to not use the word ego or place that on somebody else moving forward. I'm going to do my best not to use that because everything can be labeled ego.
Yeah.
I could look at the people that are coming to you and watching what you're posting and reacting negatively towards what you're doing and telling you that you're looking for attention and you're seeking this or you're doing that. That's coming from a place of ego. I could argue that because you're sitting on in your tower judging other people because you wouldn't do it that way. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
we could flip ego on its head 100 times.
Yeah.
So I think
You're right.
I think what and you can take this. This is just my advice. Is you do what you feel is right, and if your intent is to not do it for whatever reason that some might perceive it as bad, if your intent is to put a story out there that might help others, which clearly it is in the comments, if that's your intent, then keep doing what you're doing and fuck them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like only you know your intent.
Yeah.
And I think your intent is that you want to help people, and I think you do that on a daily basis. On X, I think you do those things. So
thank you. Well, you know, I consulted with you and Adam about a lot of this stuff for months and months and months, just feeling like, you know, I mean, it's been for a while, the last year, whatever, because I was like, I just can't do it. Like, this is just, and the thing is, like, I don't share this, but I get messages every day, anonymous, not anonymous, from I can't even say, like, just from everybody, right? That people I've never met, never thought of trying to even talk to. And a lot of it is not even related to just the situation. It's like, hey, I left my abusive significant other. I'm like, whoa. I didn't think that was anything that would be from me. Like, that just kind of blew my mind, and I've gotten quite a few like that, like maybe a couple, and then other different reasons, like about the specific situation at hand, and other people's opinions, but some want to be anonymous. They're scared, and I get why, because look at everything that it's a smear campaign. And you're amazing, Elle. But no, it wasn't. It was different. It's just like, you know what? We're just like trying to get through life one day at a time, man. And people want everybody in their place, and they don't want anybody to expose or to tell the truth. They want to keep this persona up. I don't like people talking bad about me. I mean, that's normal, right? But sometimes I have to really be aligned with reality and say, is this true what this person's saying? Maybe constructive criticism. I don't know. Not everybody's saying it to hurt us, right? And then I have to say, damn, maybe I got to take a look at that. That's humility, right? I mean, I got to own my part, but not so much to where I forget that the other party doesn't have a part, right? And that's still like something I struggle with, because, you know how we think, and are trying to change that from what we learned with AA and stuff, you know, in the past with taking our part. And it is important to look at both parts. I know now, you know. I forgot where I was going with that. That just took off. But yeah, so the thing is, like, I'm really shocked. I mean, I'm not, I don't know. I don't know if I'm shocked actually. Maybe I'm not. But the idea that a lot of people say they're bots and stuff, but I believe they're real people. In some bots, but women names, mostly. Only a couple men that are. I saw a someone sent me something where it's like, and I saw, and then I went and looked at the comments of something, and I was like, I shouldn't have looked, but late last night, and it was like about people shaming me for an abortion. um, and it was just like really wild to me because I don't know, I just like didn't I don't. This is like a world that, like, I come from the addiction world. Like Scott and I, we come from like, you know, that kind of background, and like, so there's a lot of dark things that we know about others and that tell us and that we all share with each other and are honest about. And so it's kind of just, isn't it kind of just odd, like it just does, I'm just kind of surprised, you know. I guess I don't know, it's kind of mind-boggling to see that it's been women. And you know, I understand that. No, I don't understand that. The thing is, it's like people feel like I'm attacking someone, or attacking is not verbally, anyways, but someone thinks that I'm, by me saying something, is like trying to hurt someone else. And then they jump on the defense and attack. Well, they come after me or do a smear campaign, right? And so, like, I get it. It's, but you know, it's just, I gotta I'm not gonna lay down for it. This is what we talked about, Scott. Like, I don't want to keep engaging because I have stuff that I'm neglecting, and it's too much. It's too much drama. And it really doesn't matter anymore. I mean, it matters, but in the context of whatever they say, you know, it's hurtful, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because I don't care about those opinions, right? And so some people are just, you know, some of the things I saw are just kind of evil, if you ask me. You know, just, I don't know who they are, just random people, you know, and that's fine. Like, I'm free speech. I'm totally like, say what you want. It's really none of my business. I shouldn't be looking, right? I shouldn't be looking. But it's still very, very shocking. And even seeing that late last night, I was like, wow. It was just like kind of a lesson to me that I haven't experienced. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I used to think it was such, like, so crazy, like, when, you know, stuff happens and that people like were nasty to the women without even like hearing any of the story. It's like, I at least, I admit I've done that in the past, but like, I at least want to hear what it is, or like talk to the person. I haven't had one person, like I said. There's one woman that messaged me, but it wasn't to ask me anything about the situation. It was a weird interaction. But anybody else that has been talking about me, they haven't asked me one thing. And I hear like most of them haven't even, you know, done anything. So that's their right. And they can put content on their channel if they want, just like I can as well. But I don't want to continue to engage in it, but I will if I have to. And that sucks, you know? It just is what it is, though. But like, what were you saying earlier, Scott, when we were talking about this? Because I'm like, I don't know if I just don't want to keep going at this. I don't want to keep posting personal things to just disprove things, because I know that I'm not lying. So it's like, I shouldn't even need to do that. It doesn't. What is it proving?
Well, I think one thing, and I think this goes for everybody, but I think, and this is just my opinion, as always, when you're somebody that has suffered through addiction, you take things to heart. So you could get 20, and I do this all the time. You could get 20 comments of support and then you get one asshole comment, and we're like, oh, well, so I'm wrong, or I'm doing something wrong, or that's just, that's it's not, what's the word I'm looking for here. It's like a self-esteem thing. Maybe, it maybe relates back to some of the trauma that we suffered to get us into addiction to begin with.
Absolutely is.
And I've almost, in the past month, it's been so rough for me that I've almost just deleted the entire sober heathen deal. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I've been down and working my own battles, and then I start to see, one comment like, that kind of goes against it. But there's literally dozens of other ones that are like, oh yeah, hey, I agree.
Yeah, that's what keeps us going though, like in our recovery thing, because it's difficult. Twitter's toxic. We try to make the best of it and make a community for people to talk and have agreements, disagreements, conversation about addiction and recovery. And it gets very toxic at times, the infighting. And it really takes away from what we're trying to do. And it sucks. It sucked when we felt that we had to come on here and stream about these people, a certain person or two attacking others, the newcomers. And that really gets us going because we care about the new people. I mean, it's scary to see people like push out new people that are trying to get sober. And so we feel like a sense of defense for them, right? And so that's kind of what I'm experiencing now, but that's not my community, and it's very different. It's just from what you've seen, Scott. What do you think about how the toxicity is from all that?
Yeah, this is going to sound weird because I'm harder on myself than other people, I think. But I think the majority of people on X, especially on the recovery side, are really good people. I think the majority are. I just think the other ones are louder and they stick out a little more because they're more pungent in odor.
Yeah.
Good point. Well, and I think that's just what it is, because if you go back through, and I've done this, I've went back through some of my posts that got a lot of activity. Most people that don't agree. Okay, so I'll say this. I don't believe in God. Okay. That ruffles a lot of feathers. I don't use AA anymore. That ruffles feathers. Right? I don't speak poorly about AA. I speak poorly about the gatekeepers, which we mentioned earlier, right?
Right.
And even with those things, most people understand that I'm not out here being this, militant atheist bashing God. I posted something a minute ago, if you go check out my acts about Odin. That's not me attacking. That's just me making a point saying, I could say the same thing, just replace some words. How do you feel about that? Oh, well, you probably think that's ridiculous for somebody to say. Okay. I'm just pointing that out. You know what I'm saying? Like, to answer the question, which I don't remember what it was now because slosh brain. Good. But most people on X will say, "Well, I believe in God and I go to church every Sunday, but I appreciate your you being you and not believing, and that's okay. I think your message is still pretty good."
Yeah.
So glad you're keeping
don't leave.
Oh, thank you, Ellie.
Oh, wait, hold on. I missed so much. Yeah. I think codependence isn't so much the characterization of what I'm dealing with it. Because I think there's other factors in it, but it could be, I've been before, but I haven't, it just doesn't really fit. Do you think, Scott? Like, I think we've kind of concluded it's other things, mostly, but it could be helpful,
I think any meeting that you walk into can be helpful.
Yeah, true.
I really do. I think they can be, unless you just get a total like shitstorm of a meeting. But
good point.
There's only, even when I've been to AA meetings through Zoom, and I've been through other meetings that were like, I'm like, oh my God, this has just been boring as hell. I get it. And then at the end, somebody will say something like, oh, all right, I'm glad I came here.
Yeah. For that. Seriously, it's like that little Easter egg, and you're like, all right.
Yeah, I remember this guy. He was a speaker meeting, and he went on for like 40 minutes, and it was the worst speaker meeting I've ever heard. It's like, I am not inspired. And then at the end, he laid a quote that he had heard one time on us, and I'm like, oh, and it's one of the quotes I have written in my big book. And I'm like,
That's awesome.
You really can get something from every meeting.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. I don't know what you guys were talking about up there, but dogs rule don't leave. Oh, I get exactly what you're saying. Yeah. Isn't that funny how that is? It's not funny at all, but we talk about that too. It's
Right.
like I can hold empathy and space for and forgiveness and whatever other word you can think of, and then over here I'm talking to myself like shit, and I still catch myself doing it, and I have to really use my tools, get mindful and be like centered and connected and say, Lindsay, what the heck, like, let's just get on track here. You don't need to talk to yourself like that. Why are you being so I'm like my worst enemy.
That's kind of going back to those comments you were talking about. You don't want to upset people.
Yeah, true.
But you're never going to do that. And I'm talking to myself when I say that to you. You know what I mean? You're never, ever going to please everybody. And so have to maintain authenticity and intent. And if your intent is good and you're authentic, then F what the reactions are.
I think what Dogs Rule might be talking about is kind of like how I just said that, maybe, I mean, kind of how I feel, and probably you, that it's difficult because like I can forgive someone else and I can not judge them for something, but like I'm so difficult on myself and judge myself, and I will beat up myself, and it's like a different kind of it's like a different standard that I hold for myself than others. It's like I talk to myself like shit, but like if a client or a friend came to me and said some of this stuff, I wouldn't believe the stuff that I say to myself. Like it's just like that inner critic that we all have, that tells us we're no good. And that's hard to battle. And I think that when we're first getting, I get it. Oh yeah, I get it.
Yeah, he's talking about being an empath where he can feel other people's feelings.
That's special though too. It can be really powerful. I know it's really hard, especially being susceptible to abusive types of people, right? And they are drawn to empaths. So I get exactly what you're saying. Like Adam's saying, remove yourself from the story and see how you'd feel for them. Yeah. That's my bestie. Our bestie. Yeah, because you know what? The story I can tell. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so, and this is talking to myself too, Mary, then start doing it.
Like, yeah, he said that to me too.
Go get in the mirror right now, because you're not going to miss anything. We're not that entertaining. Go in the mirror in the bathroom and look yourself in the eyes and tell yourself what you would tell your best friend, that what you think they need to hear in a down moment. That goes to Dogs Rule too. Go do it. I've done this and it sounds stupid as all hell, but it works. I've been watching videos on manifestation. And I go to bed at night and I say the same thing over and over again. Not like this will happen, this will happen. This is happening. Or, this has happened. This has happened. I am a good person. I am going to help people, things like that. And I feel better about myself. I write it in my journal too. Yeah. Go do it for yourself right now. I'm not kidding. And start doing it. I did it in my second to last treatment, and then I continued doing it when I went into my fourth one. But look, even if you cry, don't look away. Cry your eyes out. I was a grown-ass man in a treatment with other grown-ass men, crying my eyes out, trying to tell myself I love myself in the mirror. And then you know what happened? After some time, other grown-ass men were in the mirror next to me and doing the same damn thing.
It's so true though. I remember when you said that to me when I was going through the shit.
Yeah.
Like, dude, because I can sit there and I can help everybody else but myself, and I don't take time for myself sometimes, and that's where I get in trouble, right?
Yeah.
So we have to really treat ourselves gentle. Put the bat down.
Yes. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It
What would
doesn't.
you say? Somebody said it. What would you say to your best friend? Who said that? They said Adam said, "Take your stuff."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to say that to people too. I'd say, "What would you say to your best friend that came to you right now?"
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, then like 2 days later, I'm like, "Bye, Lisa. Thank you for coming." Yeah, it's hard, man. It's an everyday struggle, you know. But we just gotta, get out the tears.
Yeah.
It's healing. I hate to cry, believe me. My eyes burn like acid rain.
If you don't journal, I just started going back through my journal the other day. I was reading it at work, and I was in damn near tears from reading the stuff that I was writing not even a year ago. And just wow, dude, you're down. You know what I mean? Like, man, I wrote this. Like I don't care what happens. Like I there was an entry in there. Like I was, that somebody would come in somewhere that I was at and try to hurt people with a gun or something or a knife, and I would pray that would happen so I could rush them and take them out. And if something happened to me, that would be okay, because then I died a hero, right? So those are the kind of things that I was writing in there. I don't really want to die. It was a person at that time that was struggling with purpose, self-love, and not knowing what to do with himself. And I still struggle with that from time to time. But when you write it down and you go back and read it, it's like, wow. And then you can maybe start finding a way to have some empathy for yourself.
Yeah, it's so hard. Tampa B-Man said it's not about people believing or supporting you. It's about your journey. Let me put this up there because this is good. It's not about people believing or supporting you. It's about your journey towards healing and moving forward with your life. You only owe it to yourself, no one else. Amen. Yeah. Thank you. You're right. You're right. It's the I guess it's the natural tendency to want to defend yourself when others are telling lies or whatever. They think it's the truth, and that whatever. It doesn't.
And it can be a natural tendency to want to believe the bullshit that people are saying in the comments.
Yeah, that's true. And
yeah, you're right. I suck. Yeah, you're right. This was my fault. Yeah, I shouldn't have said that. Yeah, fuck. Fuck it.
Yeah, what I struggle with is like a feeling instantly of like, oh my God, like that's what he said. Like that's the stuff that I felt gaslit by and stuff like that. And then I don't know how to explain it. It just makes me feel like I'm a piece of shit or something and I didn't do it. I really don't. I know that I'm not, and I know that I really didn't do. I'm not doing anything to try to get anything, and it just like this is embarrassing. I hate to say that word, but I mean, I guess it's vulnerable, right? To do this. I don't mean embarrassing. I just mean like it's difficult to be vulnerable, and I hate it more than anything. Don't I, Scott? I fucking hate it. I hate crying. I hate coming to them when I'm like really struggling. I don't like it. I don't like feelings. I don't like telling people I have feelings. I don't acting weak, right? Like I know that's not real. That's why I'm doing this. But that's how I was brought up. And if you show vulnerable side of yourself, you're weak. And that's what I believed. And my dad would be like, don't do that. Like, suck it up. You don't be a weak woman and stuff like that. He'd say to me. And I didn't know that that's fucked up. And so when I got older, I'm like, Lindsay, I'm saying it in my head, I'm like, don't just be a weak woman. So I identified more with like men, that side of like, just tough it out kind of things, as if that makes sense. Like, And so it's hard for me to, I know, I love it. So does that make sense? I don't know how to explain it. It's like feelings aren't normalized and I'm still working on that. And so like every time I would tell Scott and Adam, like, hey, like, I'm really upset. And they're like, make a video about it or,
Yeah.
get it out because it's just, yeah, I know. I remember you the other night. You should get in contact with me if you want. I the coercive control, like I want to I'll talk to it more later about it, but a lot of addiction and stuff that me and Scott have talked about over the past year, nothing to do with well, I won't say it right now. I'll get in trouble with our community. But yeah, that thing with Adam, like that wasn't intended to come out. I like never was gonna let it come out. I said, I don't care how much you hurt me. I don't care. I will never come out because I thought that was being loyal. Remember, I would say that to you, Scott, and I'd be like, I think it's loyal, and you're like, no, that's not what that means.
Yeah. Yeah. Good to see the practice in action, just like she said.
Yeah.
Billy said.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like about moving a muscle, changing a thought too, I think has really helped me. To not get stuck in my head and to really go ask for help and talk.
Okay. So since all this has happened, how do you feel? Is there a weight lifted?
A million times better. Like,
okay. So when?
It's crazy.
When?
Right after.
So no longer, second guess yourself. I'm not saying that you are.
But no, I'm not anymore as much. I've been having a lot of help from professionals and stuff to talk to me and teach me more about this stuff, because when it's right in front of your face, it's hard to see. Because I can help someone else with a situation, but like it makes no sense in my own head when it's with me. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm sure you guys get what I mean. Hello. I forgot what I was going to say. Go ahead. I'm going to order Uber Eats right now. You guys hungry? Do you want me to pick you up anything?
Yeah, I want you to see what it would cost to send me a sub up here to Michigan. Thanks.
It would cost the same because I've done that for clients before in other states. Ordered on Uber Eats.
I want to work with clients over Zoom. It'd be so much better.
Oh, man.
Not better. I like the in-person better, but it'd be better because I think I could have more clients.
Yeah, that's what it is, because like they show up on time more, and it's much easier to meet with them more often than having to drive. They don't want to drive and do all this and stuff. Thank you. You guys are awesome. You guys, I made a fan club. No, I just, what is it called? See, I don't even know this shit. Memberships or something. So I'm going to have a whole, I want to have way more members only kind of videos, so that I'm not just having everything out in the open. So if you want to join my new sub thing, membership thing on there, you can on my main page. I believe it is. I don't know this stuff.
Oh, there you go.
But I just know that I want to keep some things, not out in the open. So it would help me more to do that.
Well, and then only people that, it gives them an option to whether you want to hear that stuff or not.
Yeah. Yeah. And memberships are a great way to support. Thank you. Yeah. It's much appreciated. And I finally got super chats too. I always wondered what they were.
So what are super chats?
I don't even know how you do them. Like, that's kind of weird. I should probably find out like what I just like I hit the on button. And so I don't really know, like, but it sends money and like a question, I guess, or like a comment. And then I think there's stickers, but I don't know what that is either. I heard someone talking about that, but so it's cool. It's pretty cool. New things. You know what I mean? So, yeah. What are you looking at, dude?
I was just reading the comments.
Oh. Hit me up if you guys want to chat. Are you Tampa Brad? Silencio. Huh.
Let's see, Canada, California, got quite the span of people.
I know.
You're in Florida. I'm in Michigan. We pretty much got the U.S. covered.
Yeah, we're doing pretty. There's a lot of people that are from out of the country that watch too. Barbara Mangano? Oh, I don't know. What? Oh, never mind then. I'm not sure. How am I supposed to know you guys? I just remember that name. I just saw Tampa and thought.
Oh, in London. Jesus. Hey, Doug Rule's in Michigan too. That automatically means she's cool.
Obviously. Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna
That's a better way to look at it, Tampa.
I'm a human.
We're
Earthling.
an Earthling.
I'm gonna keep we are going to keep on pushing, just like we get it's hard to like dedicate time when we're doing the recovery stuff on here, but like it helps us with our recovery, and we just got to keep pushing even when we don't want to do it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and I'm going to once again, like Scott and I were talking about earlier, I'm getting tired because I didn't eat, but we will I'm not going to like lay down for anybody that's going to continue to attack me, but I'm not going to attack anybody or say, I'm not going to like go after anybody or say anything about them is really what I mean. I really don't want to care about this anymore, and I want to work on my recovery. So if everybody wants peace, here's our chance, but it seems to be that's not going to be. It's actually that it seems to be picking up, that people are trying to discredit me, and it's a campaign. So I will continue that if that's what's needed, because I'm not going to be spat on. So just being real.
Yeah. If everybody sits down for these assholes, then they're just going to keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah. So I as much as I don't want to keep doing this, I got way better shit to do. I'm not talking about the recovery thing. I'm talking about with the drama. I really don't want to fucking keep doing it. It's so time consuming, and I don't care I really don't care. But like just lay off, or I'm not. I'm gonna keep going, and I don't want to. Okay.
Yeah. Well, why don't you go get your Uber Eats and chow down, and then I got an idea for later, but okay. I'll bring that up offline.
How come I can't wink without opening my mouth? Because in cheerleading we have to go. I hope someone clips that.
You need to go back and get that thumbnail.
Oh yeah. All right, guys.
All right.
I love
Thanks for having me, Lindsay.
Thank you for having me. Thanks, Ivor. I said it right. It's ivermectin. Did you notice that? That's my mod. Ivermectin. That's my dog. Oof, you're damn right.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys. Love you. Bye.